Hey everyone, welcome to Creepy InQueeries,
a podcast dedicated to all things creepy, spoopy, and true crimey.
With your hosts,
Miss
Evan
and Edie, your friendly neighborhood queers.
Ooh,
48 and feeling
deep
great.
Dive 48, feeling great. No more hate. Accentuate.
congratulate on
in that
48.
Mm-hmm. That was better than masturbate, which is what I was all I could think of.
No, that is the,
and I was like, I
cannot. I got stuck on masturbate for a second.
Okay, good.
And I was like, master, congratulate.
But yeah, this is episode 48 of our amazing, illustrious, never been done before, totally unique, forever unchanged podcast that is Creepy InQueeries. And we are at episode 48. We're almost about to reach that magical whole number
50 years old.
50. I can kick.
50.
I can
stretch and
stretch.
kick.
I can't wait for that.
If I can stretch or kick by the time I'm 50, I will be amazed.
I cannot stretch or kick at 35. So
give credit where it's due. I can. It's just it usually goes too far and I hurt myself.
Yes.
You know, all those loose little tendies. That's how I dislocated my ribs last time. Just a stretch.
You are a mutant.
Well, you know,
Capital M.
others who are aging who might mess up their ribs when they stretch. Celebrities who are 48 include Tyra Banks. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
Great ribs on her, though.
Nice.
Nelly.
Cool.
Country grammar himself. Nelly.
Saint Lunatic. Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon. Blech.
Okay. Whatever.
Lil' Kim.
Hey. Queen Bee.
Victoria Beckham.
Oh, okay. She can hang out.
Work.
That's right. Amy Adams.
Yay.
Oh, yay.
Oh.
No, I don't have an opinion.
Reaction.
I don't have an opinion.
Whoa. What strange shade on Amy Adams.
It's not shade. She's not like my favorite. I'm so sorry. I love her. She's the love of my life. I've never loved anyone more.
You are going to tweet Amy Adams the date of this release of this episode.
No, I didn't do anything. I'm not even defending myself. I'm defending what you heard.
Alanis Morissette, who's Jagged Little Pill, absolutely destroyed my Discman.
Jagged Little Pill is definitely part of Creepy InQueries canon.
Yes, it is.
In the
it sure is.
Creepy InQueries verse. Yeah.
The soundtrack to me pumping myself up to punch Steel in the arm. the vibe. It's the vibe.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, that's what I think about when I think of the Creepy InQueries multiverse.
Yes.
We're just creating our own weird little town where the rules of physics and time don't work.
Yeah. And today I'm going to add a new part to the multiverse with my spoopy story.
Hey.
I'm excited for that.
Yes.
Hey.
Now, before we get into stories, what have we been up to? What have we been up to?
I'm looking for a new apartment.
What?
Ooh.
Leaving the treehouse?
Yeah. So the circumstances on which I started living in the treehouse have changed. It was supposed to be temporary. And the market when I moved here was insane. There was almost nothing available. I think I applied to like 30 apartments when I moved here, and I heard from 3, and one of them was a scam. So yes, I was desperate. So I kind of just took this. I mean, it's fine. I like this place, but she's pricey. And now that the market has changed, at least here, there's some significantly more affordable options on the market. So I'm actually going to go see one today at 4:30. But yeah, nothing else.
Yeah, we'll take pictures, miss, so you can send it to me and Edie.
Of course. And this is also proof that I was alive earlier today. So if I disappear after going to the showing, which I feel like is a reasonable thought, and preparation is key. Sure. So you'll know. I'll send you the address after.
Are you saying that if you don't send us the photos I just requested, we should assume that you've been taken?
Ooh, no, because I am the short-term memory.
I just wanted to make sure.
The short-term memory on this machine is lacking. So if you don't hear from me, like in general tonight, then alert the authorities.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
Deal, in fact.
Good. Good. Thank you. Pleasure doing business with you.
How's your weekend been?
My weekend has been good. We are going to get haircuts this afternoon at 4:30. It is very much very cute. We always go and get haircuts
like a his and theirs
together. It's a his and theirs haircut situation.
I love it.
And then we're gonna pick up just an atrociously early dinner. We're probably going to eat at like 5:30 or 6 because
I thought you were going to say 3.
It's neither atrocious or early.
Yeah,
we're usually like 7 on the dot, people.
I was expecting 3. Like sometimes on a weekend.
What I was expecting.
Yeah, I'll make dinner early just because I don't have anything else to do. That's not why. Just because it's what you do.
Well, I have to eat and go to bed early because I have to wake up very, very early for a work thing tomorrow.
Boo.
Also, by next time you hear from me, people, we will have celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary. Yes.
Yay.
Years.
10 years. 10 years.
Congratulations.
It will be very, very nice. I think we're going to do next month, a trip to Boston to see some friends of ours from LA.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
We're going to go do a trip for our, like a big to do for the anniversary, but then on the night we're going to do a fancy dinner because we don't really do very much in the way of fancy. Might go to some. Oh, who did You Look Marvelous? That's Billy Crystal from like the 70s on SNL. Oh my god!
SNL. Deep dive.
What a deep dive. Oh, what a lame pull. Oh Jesus! But yeah, that's what we've got. That's pretty much what we've got going on.
Cool. That's awesome, and I can't believe it's been 10 years.
10 years, and Kevin himself officiated our wedding all those years ago. Rev Kev, the Reverend Kevrins.
You don't have to make this all about me, Edie. It's just, it'll go to my head, you know?
But they weren't making it.
I wasn't, but that's right.
He's got it.
I actually just got a 10-year, got a 10-year email from the monastery.
Like Universal Life Church gave you a 10-year email?
Yes, they did.
Congratulations, Rev Kev.
Sure did. I'm I remain Rev Kev.
And we are your only wedding so far.
Yes, that's what I mean. I'm 1 for 1. Like
1 for 1.
It's just,
we're still going. It's
100%.
It's 100% rate. That's you're batting 1,000.
Put that on your website.
Sports reference.
Yeah.
Who are we? Who are we right now?
Unrecognizable.
To sports.
What is this episode? Well, my weekend. Let me think.
Yes.
Let me think. It's been unseasonably warm here in Baltimore over this past weekend.
The same
and I
here.
spent a little bit outside, but not as much because especially today it's been a little rainy because again we record on Sundays. Sorry, I just killed the illusion, everybody. I did go out with a couple friends last night. We went out to a gay bar. We went to a gay bar.
Gay bar, gay bar, gay bar. Whoa!
So we went out because Brooklyn Heights from Drag Race fame was going to be doing a show. But then we got there and it was fine. We were dancing. She was late. Allegedly, BWI had lost her bags.
I mean, that sort of tracks, but
that could have happened very well. But I didn't end up staying long enough to see her. I had my fill. We danced.
How late was she?
I don't know, actually. I left around 11:30.
That's late.
I think she was supposed to go on at 11.
Oh, okay.
That's
still late.
Yeah.
That sounds like I was looking up queer
no
events.
tea, no shade. I'm sure she actually lost her bags, and
Yes.
I'm sure she had performed the House Down Boots because she's fucking amazing. I wish I could have seen her, but we left. Sorry about it. We still paid for the tickets, so she
there you
got
go.
her money.
Brooklyn got paid. She got paid.
Brooklyn got paid, and she had more room to move because 2 bodies weren't there.
There we go.
Had paid, so I'm thinking bright sides. So that was my highlight of my weekend. It was fun.
That's great. I will always remember the most iconic drag event that I went to with you, Kev, is when we saw, it was probably like 10 or 11 years ago, we saw Latrice Royale perform, and I cried.
It was unexpected how amazing she was. We all knew she's amazing, but I never had seen her perform. And when she does a jump split, it is shocking in the best way.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Performs the House Down Boots.
Absolutely. And there was I can't remember what it was that she was lip syncing to, but it was very much it was like a ballad, and it was just a stand and sing situation.
Maybe it was like a Donna Summer number, possibly.
Possibly. It just was like everything. Yeah, it was everything.
It was everything. It was everything. She came out in a choir robe first, and then she ripped it off into like a cat suit.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Choir robe. Kevin, you did choir. You were in a choir recently. Were you wearing cat suits underneath?
No.
Wow.
I gotta say, it was a little disappointing. It was
disappointed.
Well, what about this year? Is the queer choir doing? Are you not doing queer choir this year?
I'm not doing it this season. So here's the deal. They do 2 seasons. They do the summer concert or the spring concert and the winter concert. Last year, because of circumstances in COVID, they didn't have the spring concert. I joined back again when they started for the winter concert, and they start August, and you start singing holiday songs from August to December. And if I have to sing Sleigh Ride one more time.
Oh God. Yeah, totally.
So I could not take it this year.
You'll do the summer session.
I will do the summer session. I had to skip this year's because I was getting married. So I was like, I got to focus on that. So I was like, I'll start back up for the winter. I went to 3 rehearsals and I couldn't handle this.
That's choir corner.
That's choir corner. That's choir corner for today.
That's the choir corner. But yeah, let's get this episode starting, shall we?
We shall. And you know what? Choir corner is kind of a good segue into my true crime story. Sort of.
Choir?
And like a choral music and like churchy music.
Okay.
My mother, who we know does not listen to this podcast, loves novelty calendars.
Okay.
Yeah.
She loves a cute Dachshund calendar, your classic Far Side calendar. Did you have a Far Side calendar?
No.
You didn't have to suffer through years of Gary Larson comics about like there's oh gosh.
None of those are bells that are ringing.
Count yourselves lucky. We did have one, and it was mainly for the pictures. One year when we went on a family trip to Italy, she got a calendar of handsome priests from Vatican City.
Weird.
Yeah. Hot priests. It was her hot priest calendar.
I mean, I laugh, but I would like to actually see that calendar.
There were some hot priests, but my mother's all-time favorite calendar was nuns having fun.
I know the trope.
Okay.
We got it year after year. It was nuns on swings, nuns doing double Dutch jump rope, nuns riding tricycles, nuns smoking cigarettes, which is my favorite one. The disconnect between these Spartan expectations of nuns' lives with the casual pleasures that they indulged in the photos really, really tickled my mom. And what really, really tickles me is rejecting the dictates of the Catholic Church, arguably the Western world's oldest and most powerful sex cult.
Yes. Drag them, Edie.
So for today's true crime story, I humbly present to you nuns having fun.
Okay.
I am here for it.
I listen, as a not Catholic, someone who did not grow up Catholic, I'm still into it. Let's do it.
Yes. Oh, this is deeply, Catholic listeners. This one's for you. Lapsed Catholics, this one's for you. Especially. It's for everybody, but it's especially for you. For 600 years, the Sisters of the Order of Poor Clare lived in a convent in the Belgian city of Bruges. Mm-hmm. The order was founded by St. Clare of Assisi in 1212.
Good.
St. Clare was the first woman to write a set of monastic guidelines, and her rules were intense, forbidding property ownership and requiring extreme poverty, total reliance on the generosity of the community around the convent. So the poor Clares of Bruges lived cloistered lives, with little contact with the secular world around them. Mm-hmm. Until 1985, when a 30-year-old man named Ronnie Crabbe arrived.
Okay.
Ronnie Crabbe.
Spelled there will be spelled exactly how you think. Okay. And I'm going to try with most of the Flemish pronunciations, like French/Flemish pronunciations, but I can't resist Ronnie Crabbe. However you pronounce it in Belgium I don't care. His name is Ronnie Crabbe.
Good. You.
Ronnie was recommended by a protege of the local bishop. He could drive, he could garden, he could fix things, and so Ronnie became the nuns' go-to guy, and they all got along well. After a while, Ronnie would bring the nuns little treats, just kind of hints at the secular world that they denied themselves for so long. Mm-hmm. Eventually, the nuns named Ronnie director of their investments and financial affairs.
Oh, there it is.
I thought they were vow of chastity, vow of poverty. What?
Well, they still got to pay the rent.
To God.
Pay the rent to God. They're married to Jesus. They pay the rent to God.
Oh, exactly. It doesn't sound like a good gig, but go ahead.
It sounds horrible.
Around 1988, the poor Clares heard through the grapevine that the Bishop of Bruges, a guy named Roger van Heleve, had plans for their home.
That's crazy. My mom almost named me that when I was born.
Shut up.
Roger spelled Roger. Van Heleve spelled, obviously, Van Heleve. The bishop's office had put the Bruges convent on a list of those convents that would be closed to new recruits. That meant no new nuns.
Say that 3 times.
And no new nuns.
No new nuns, no new nuns, no new nuns.
No new nuns. No new nuns.
Has anybody ever seen Baz Luhrmann's only good movie, Strictly Ballroom?
No.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. There's a great line from the ballroom, the Melbourne local ballroom guy named Barry Fife. He's a real asshole. And he wants to keep ballroom dancing pure. He says, there will be no new steps.
New steps.
So no new nuns.
No new nuns.
And
no
what?
New steps.
Are they just trying to shut down this convent? Is that why?
Yes, basically. Because the nuns who were there already were getting older. By around this time, only 8 sisters remains at the Poor Clares convent. They ranged in age from around 61 to 93.
Oh my God.
Wow. Being married to Jesus gives you super long life.
Super long life. So the bishop's office, as Miss intimated, basically sentenced the convent to a slow death. So when the last nun died, the convent itself would go with her, and the property and everything in it would be returned to the diocese to do whatever they wanted with. And a diocese in Catholic land is a district, a small area that is under the control of a bishop. Here, Roger van Heleve. We're talking priceless art collections and holy relics that the order had collected over hundreds of years that would just revert back to the church.
Like 1212, is that what you said?
Basically, yeah. So over the course of 600 years, everything that the Poor Clares built would be resorbed into the one true church. But
by the man.
Not if the sisters had anything to do with it.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, yes. Sisters
are doing it for themselves.
Literally,
sisters are doing it for themselves.
The song, it's soundtrack to the show.
Oh my God. Anytime that I can sing Sisters Are Doing It for Themselves.
That's what you would hear in like the liminal space of you walking around the creepy InQueeries multiverse. Just
that's
like
exactly,
this field with fog.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And you hear it in the distance.
Yeah.
It's that.
Just like over an ancient PA system.
And then you see like,
oh no, it's a horror movie.
And now you see like the Falk monster go by, and then you see
the Otter Man,
and then you see Amy Bach trying to.
That's right, just trying to get you.
Terry Hoffman, photos of clouds. Yes. She's there.
Just her photos of clouds in the sky.
Yes,
not
yes, exactly.
Clouds.
Not actual clouds, just Terry Hoffman's photos of clouds, where she would say like, "This is the photo of an angel." It's like, bitch, no, it's not. Now, you might think that all Catholic religious leaders, particularly priests and bishops and the like, take vows of poverty, but most don't. Priests,
not men.
No. Priests who work at churches within a diocese, which is, like I said, a district under the control of a bishop, they don't even make vows exactly. They make promises of chastity and obedience to their bishop.
Yep.
But monks and nuns do take vows of poverty, despite the immense fucking wealth of the Catholic Church. Have you ever seen any place more fucking dripping with gold? There's gold everywhere. Think of any Catholic church you've seen or seen pictures of in America, or especially the oldies in Europe.
Oh, yes.
Those
dripping
shits
with
are
gold.
dripping.
On their like slippers alone.
Yes. Gold thread, gold leaf, giant hats.
Fuck.
Right, but what's the problem? Isn't that what they deserve?
It's what they deserve.
They're men in charge of the church.
And for a long time, if you gave enough money to the church, then you could buy yourself some years out of purgatory.
Sure could.
It's great. It's all very cool and good, and it's not a cult. So it's fine.
No.
So what? Are you guaranteed purgatory? And then,
yeah, like not guaranteed exactly, but like
too into the weeds on that. Yeah.
No. But I thought purgatory was like you're not like a good person, but you're not shitty enough just to go straight to hell.
No, if you haven't been baptized, you go to. Or did they do away with that?
I think at some point babies who weren't baptized did not go to hell, and I think could get into heaven at some point, but I think started in purgatory. Like,
yeah.
It's because, miss, all human beings, because of Eve's stupidity and naivete and all of our original sin, we all are born sinners. And we have to apologize just for being alive all the time. And everything that we do, most of the things that we do are bad. But it's not a cult. And we have
it certainly didn't give millions of people fucking complexes that they then give to their children in their communities.
And you just have to tell the priest in a secret way, but it's not secret because he can tell who you are. Once a week, tell him all the bad things that you did, and he'll keep it secret. And he won't lord it over you. All the bad thoughts that you've had. Yeah, not even things that you've done, even things that you've thought. And
it's not a cult.
It's not a cult. It's not a cult, and it's fine. And you can just...
Do you know why it's not a cult? Because it's been around for so long. That's why.
That's why it's not a cult. And on Sundays or whenever you go to church, which like ideally is like every day, you have a cracker, but it's not a cracker. It is literally the flesh of Jesus Christ.
Flesh.
And you drink a little sip of wine, but it's not wine. It's literally the blood of Jesus Christ.
It's grape juice.
Not vampiric, not culty, not at all.
Not cannibalistic.
Look, all these rituals are so good. Nobody believes in like satanic stuff more than Catholics, and their shit is so like ritualistic. All the things that they think about Satanists, they kind of do themselves, which I think is very fun. And the whole like curious. And I love the whole concept of a black mass, as we've talked about in the La Voisin episodes. The concept of a black mass is a satire of the trappings of the Catholic Church, not necessarily openly satanic in and of themselves. Thank you to Anton LaVey, giant nerd, for that clarification. Anyway, thinking of these vows of poverty that nuns take, including the Poor Clares. As some nuns age or retire, their living conditions can become pretty dire. Some nuns spend their last days relying on fairly meager government benefits that might or might not be enough to pay for things like prescription drugs that you might need as a senior, or a proper burial when your time comes. Mm-hmm. The Poor Clares did not want their lives to end this way. The sisters owned their convent in Bruges under Belgian law, and as a non-profit association, their convent was governed by its own bylaws. So in late 1989, the sisters changed the convent bylaws to secure their own rights to the property and the land. They wanted the proceeds from the convent to go to their families after they all died, not back to the church. Because if the church didn't give a fuck about the Poor Clares were not going to give a fuck about the church.
Hey.
Amen.
So with Ronnie's help, the sisters started selling off their art and holy relics. Finally, they quietly met with a notary so each sister could sign an agreement to sell their convent to a textile company for $1.4 million.
Hell yeah, let's retire, ladies. I'm sure the Sisters of the Poor could make that money last for a very long time.
It's so great what happens, because the Poor Clares were poor no more. And that's when the spending started.
Oh, God, give it to me.
Oh, okay.
Give it to me.
They bought an old fixer-upper of a castle in the south of France.
Just an old castle. Okay, sorry.
Well, there's much more of those lying around there than
sure.
Like
up to their eyeballs in castles.
It's just not, I agree, and I know. I'm just saying it was unexpected.
They bought a farm.
Okay. And everyone's over 60.
Between 61 and 93.
All right.
They bought a stable of 11 racehorses.
Okay.
They bought a fleet of cars, including 3 Mercedes sedans kitted out with TVs and phones.
I'm sorry.
I love them. I love them all.
So are we getting divorced from Jesus?
It really is like they're getting divorced from Jesus.
Honestly, it's the nuns are a divorcee, and they just got their settlement checks from the divorce, and they're just having a great time.
They are all blue cantrelling. Oops, there goes the dreams we used to say. Oops. There goes the love we had away. Oops.
God, I love that song too. That is a bop.
That's a good.
It's an amazing song. Listener, if you're not in your 30s like us, if you're
not exactly our age,
if you're not exactly our age, you might not exactly know the incredible bop that is Blue Cantrell's "Oop." Open parentheses, hit 'em up style, close parentheses.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Absolutely. Get on that level.
So good.
Watch the video and imagine just nuns doing it.
They grab their Their friends Soli and Mia.
With Soli and Mia. Yes.
Oh, that tickles.
Oh, it's so good. So they had these fleet of cars, the 3 Mercedes sedans that had TVs and car phones because it was 1989. They also had a Mercedes limo with a TV and a wet bar.
I mean, listen, they've lived at least 60 years in like extreme poverty. So let them have it.
You think they went to the dealership and they were like, I like the dry bar, but is there a wet bar option?
Yeah, I'd really like it if we could upgrade that to a wet bar, please.
Yeah,
we're nuns.
They can just get turned in the limo. Now,
hell yeah.
The oldest sister, Agnes, was in poor health and she couldn't see or hear or walk because she was very much 93.
I was going to say she's pretty old.
But Agnes wasn't left out because they secured her an ambulance so that she could travel in style.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay, just so I'm clear.
Yeah.
No, I'm just sorry. You just said that she was deaf and blind, and I'm just picturing Sister Agnes driving around in her ambulance.
She's in the back of the ambulance.
She's in the back. She's not driving.
Hooked up. No, she's not driving it. No, she can't see.
Just so she can go. Okay, just so she can go and hang. Yeah, and have all of her.
They secured the ambulance, and I guess the EMT necessary to just like keep her
on the payroll,
chill and comfy in the ambulance as needed.
Okay.
Now, according to French press coverage at the time, beef between the Poor Clares and the Bishop of Bruges was an open secret. So when Bishop Van Haleva heard about what was going on at the convent, he was pissed. He stormed over to the convent and demanded to meet with the Mother Superior, Sister Anna. This was at like 11 at night. In like the winter.
That's appropriate.
That's
appropriate.
The bishop tried to address what he thought were the nuns' concerns. He assured Sister Anna that the church would take care of the nuns for the rest of their lives and said that they shouldn't worry because the convent property wouldn't fall into commercial hands. He thought that that's what the nuns were giving a shit about.
Okay.
But Sister Anna told the bishop it was too late. The nuns
we already sold it to a commercial.
They already sold it to commercial interests. It's done. It's done. The bishop flipped shit and demanded that the nuns cancel the sale. And Sister Anna refused. Just no. The sisters were retiring to the south of France together and the bishop could go fuck himself.
Yes, ladies.
Love it.
Great and good and wonderful for you.
It's so good. So that night, after the bishop left, just super pissed, that night in early 1990, the nuns prepared to leave. They packed their bags, they loaded up their fleet of cars, prepped the ambulance for Sister Agnes, and
don't forget
packed
Sister
up all their racehorses.
Oh my God, all 11 of them. Why do they have racehorses?
It's an investment.
Okay. Why not?
Sorry,
they want them.
Sorry, you're right. It's an investment.
Early the next morning, just before dawn, the sisters set off on their journey to their new home. Each of them, outlaws.
Fuck yes.
And not for nothing, none of them knew how to drive.
Even better.
They're just
self-taught drivers. Self-taught.
This caravan of little old Belgian ladies.
How hard could it be?
I love this.
They managed to get there without incident.
Well, see? What's the problem?
It's fine. It's fine.
Jesus, take the lead.
It's very...
The only appropriate time for that song to be played.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Jesus, take the wheel, indeed. And it very much reminds me of, I grew up with my grandfather. He lived with us, my mother's father.
Mm-hmm.
And towards the end of his life, he was in his late 70s. He used to drive me and my sister to and from school every day until he really couldn't anymore. And he drove this big bright white Ford Crown Victoria. So he looked like he was this like ancient guy in this, what looked like a repurposed cop car.
Yep.
And the way that we figured out that he really shouldn't drive anymore is that he started coming home with this bright white Ford Crown Victoria with like just a couple around the bumper, just a couple splatters of different colored paint from other cars. He would be getting into like constant hit and run fender benders.
Oh my God.
Constantly. And he's
Grandpa
like, I don't
on the run.
Pop-Up didn't give a fuck. He would say, like, I'm 78 years old. I can do what I want. We're like, you cannot drive anymore, though.
So what? It's like, it's just a few or 7 hit and runs.
It was
I don't know what we're making a big deal about.
It was like a kind of like a Bob Ross palette of colors.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Just, yellow ochre, all of it. Just all of it represented the whole color wheel. But the nuns apparently didn't pull a pop-up, and they made it over into France and settled into their castle in the French Pyrenees. The castle was dilapidated, as most castles were by the time the 20th century came around. But it did have some features. A swimming pool.
Okay.
A stable for their racehorses. And several tennis courts.
Done. That's nuns done. That's all they need.
Nuns are done. Bishop Van Haleva told local authorities that the nuns had fucked off with church funds. He said the sisters had no legal grounds to sell the land and the property that he argued belonged to the Vatican, not to them.
Oh, I have a deed. That would show you otherwise. Sorry.
The bishop did find help in this endeavor. The very youngest of the 8 Poor Clares, who would have been around 61 or 62.
Mm-hmm.
She felt that Ronnie had led the older sisters astray. And she wasn't a huge fan of what was going on.
Ronnie Crab? Mr. Crab?
Ronnie Crab. Krusty Krab.
Yep.
The bishop asked the youngest of the Poor Clares to go to the Belgian police with her story. And so at the request of the church, police launched an investigation. While the nuns were gone, back in Bruges, cops seized historic artifacts from the Poor Clares convent that the nuns had left behind. So anything that they didn't sell off, they just fucked off in the middle of the night. So there are some relics, there are some old paintings and shit that just the cops
we don't need this
seized.
We don't need this in our castle in France.
We don't need
this
castle.
in our retirement. Mm-mm.
By the end of February 1990, a few weeks after the nuns left Bruges, Belgian police arrived in the south of France, looking to ask the sisters some questions.
Sure, ask away, guys.
Meanwhile, it turns out things at the castle weren't exactly going, like, awesome.
Hate that.
The place had a swimming pool, but no running water.
Sure.
And it had
classic
tennis courts, but no central heat.
Okay.
But the nuns
got a fireplace.
Exactly. The nuns were chilling.
I was going to say, these are like people who have lived in the most poverty for decades.
Don't give a fuck.
I think they're okay. But it's like, I'll drink the pool water.
No, Sister Anna said, there is no question. We found perfect happiness. We don't care at all about the lack of comfort in our new home. We feel closer to the Lord there than in Bruges.
Done.
Yeah. But the cops weren't done. In February 1990, Ronnie was arrested and ultimately charged with swindling the nuns to gain control of their financial affairs. Despite testimony from the nuns... I was going to say, did he benefit?
Did he benefit from this?
Now, did
he get like a cut of it?
There are some allegations that Ronnie might have skimmed from the top a little bit. Right. I don't know to what degree, if any, that is true, but we'll hear a little bit about that. Despite testimony from the nuns that they were aware of what they were doing, what they were spending on, and why they were buying it, Ronnie ended up standing trial kind of right away in March 1990. He was found guilty and jailed for 39 days before an appeals court released him. Outside the jail, Ronnie's lawyer told reporters that it was a trumped-up case all along, and that the church had pressured cops to investigate so that the church could justify a civil claim to recover the goods the nuns had sold.
Sure.
A spokesperson for the bishop denied the accusation. He said,
obviously,
the church has never wanted the goods of that convent. The bishop was only interested in the welfare of the sisters.
Of course.
False. Because also, Bishop Van Heleve excommunicated Sister Anna, as well as the youngest of the 8 nuns, Guillaumina Lambrechts, the one he convinced to go to the cops in the first place. He excommunicated her and Sister Anna.
Wow.
The bishop said that they failed to submit the convent's books for examination by the diocese and refused to let a church official enter the convent. And so for those money crimes,
God hates you.
God hates you. Get out.
Fucked over my capitalism.
Now, just hold that in your mind for a little bit. Hold that, and we'll hear some things that might make you feel that's maybe a little bit rich. Legal claims continued. The nuns' bank accounts were frozen by court order. Without access to their cash, they had to sell their French castle less than a year after moving there. They returned to Belgium in November 1990, where they moved into a villa near Antwerp. Their living expenses were once again under control of the church. I do not know exactly how that happened.
They probably came to an agreement or settlement or something.
Something happened that brought them kind of back into the fold. According to Ronnie, the nuns had to accept a representative of the bishop on the board of trustees of their new home in order to keep them in line.
Into a corner. Right. They were backed into a corner.
You've sowed your oats. You've had your Rumspringa.
That's exactly what this was.
Back.
This is exactly what a non-Rumspringa would be.
Exactly. Ronnie's legal troubles weren't over either. In 1993, he was charged with forgery and use of forgery, fraud for 10 million francs, which was around $294,000.
That's a lot.
That's the amount that he was accused of, I think, skimming. Assault and battery on one of the sisters and breach of trust.
So wait. This is after they've been excommunicated, they've been back.
Yeah, two of the 8 were excommunicated. The other 6,
remaining 6,
came back in. And in 1993 that Ronnie's charged with these various things. His trial started in February 1995. The prosecution claimed that Ronnie got rich by embezzling from the nuns and that he had also assaulted one of the sisters. I don't have any details about that alleged assault. The court also heard that in the years between 1990 and 1995, Ronnie wrote a book about his life in the convent and sold the rights to shoot a movie. He, of course, cast himself as the hero.
Okay. All right. So, all right.
I don't really know what to make of Ronnie. Ronnie's
either. Not without more,
right.
Because at first I'm like, oh, here's this dude. He's trying to help the ladies help themselves. $294,000 is a lot of money.
And I don't have.
And
who
knows?
Detail.
It could have been an agreement between him and the ladies. Yeah.
In April 1995, he was acquitted on the charge of breach of trust, and he was also the accusations of forgery and use of forgery were thrown out. He was convicted of assault and battery and sentenced to 6 months suspended and a 12,000 franc fine. Ronnie successfully appealed and was ultimately acquitted in 1996.
Okay.
So according to the laws of Belgium, he no conviction.
Right.
No conviction.
But originally he was convicted only for the assault battery.
As far as I can tell, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's good for Ronnie.
Now, one of the articles that I read said that Ronnie came back into the news briefly in 2014 when he had tried to start a career as a far-right Flemish nationalist politician, but then was removed from his post when they found out that he was that Ronnie Crabbe. I tried to verify that. I couldn't, so I don't know if that's true. But one of the articles that I read speculated, at least, that Ronnie came into the spotlight again, trying to be a super fun Flemish nationalist, and then disappeared again into obscurity.
That adds into the negative column for the old monster.
I thought that I had to bring it up because as a possibility, but again, I couldn't independently verify it. Content warning here for Catholic Church related items. In 2010, then aged 73, Bishop Roger Vangelova became the first European bishop to resign over child abuse allegations.
Oh, God.
Shock
all right.
of shocks.
Wait, 2010? He was the first?
Yes. The first European bishop to resign.
Wow.
Maybe they had priests resign.
Sure.
But he was bigger time. He was the guy, he was the Bishop of Bruges. Like the Catholic mayor of a pretty big
Catholic
city.
Mayor.
Yeah. Unelected.
Vangelova was accused of sexually abusing his own nephew for years, from age 5 to 18. He was forced to resign when a friend of the victim threatened to make the abuse public. Vangelova acknowledged molesting a person who he described as a boy in my close entourage.
Fuck off.
What do you mean? What is an entourage? What?
Turns out
horrible.
That church officials were warned about the bishop's abuse 25 years earlier, but covered for him.
Of course they were.
25 years earlier would be at or before the time that the poor Clares were doing their thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
One retired priest said he tried to warn Belgium's cardinal, the cardinal in charge of Belgium, about the abuse in 1996, but was reprimanded for speaking up. That cardinal would ultimately be heard on an audio recording urging the nephew to keep quiet until Vangelova retired.
I mean, honestly, we should be shocked, but it's not even surprising.
But Sister Anna and that other nun were excommunicated for not showing Vangelova their books.
Sure, and I guarantee you that he was not excommunicated upon his resignation.
He wasn't. They first tried to move him to a convent, to like a monastery in Belgium,
a re-education center.
And then the Catholic, the Holy See or whatever were like, oh yeah, that's kind of bad optics for us. So he's going to have to leave Belgium and he's going to have to do like psychological and spiritual counseling like somewhere else.
That's what they do. They just move them around.
I don't know and did not read that he was ever excommunicated. I don't know that. The ending isn't all glum. After their excommunication, Sister Anna and Guillaume Lambrechts started a new life together. The former nuns retired together to a pretty farmhouse on the edge of a small stream in the heart of the Ardennes in the southeast of Belgium.
Have I seen this movie before?
Yeah, it's one of those lesbian period pieces where they just like look at each other.
It's just a lot of intense gazing.
It's just yearning and costumes, and sometimes their fingers brush each other.
Just a gentle brush, or like a fixing of a collar.
Yes, exactly. And in that pretty little farmhouse, they wanted nothing more than to live together, far from all the hassle.
Good.
Excommunicated old nuns in love.
Yeah. That's so nice. So, see, good things do happen when you get kicked out of the cult.
Yes.
Even if you didn't want to go.
Ultimately, the Catholic Church got what they wanted again. Unsurprising, as it's one of the most powerful institutions known to humankind.
Yep.
But I believe that the moral of this story is that the Sisters of the Order of Poor Clare got themselves a taste of freedom.
Yeah.
These little old ladies fucking went for it.
And they were right. And they were in the right the entire time.
at least for a few beautiful months in 1990, those nuns were having fun.
Nuns having
Edie.
fun.
Nuns having fun.
Oh, nuns having fun.
Because sometimes a true crime story is about crimes that are awesome. Sometimes it's just about being awesome.
That's exactly true. I accept that. Sometimes it's awful. And sometimes it's a mix.
Yeah. And it's not like, I don't think the nuns ever really did anything criminal. And Ronnie ended up getting acquitted of kind of everything.
Yeah,
but it touched on enough true crimey stuff, and plus the whole Bishop Van Haleve of it all.
This is really
it's too fun. It's too good and fun to pass up. And then there's the other side of the coin of like, of course there's a molester.
Of course he was molesting. Of course he doesn't call it molesting. Of course he won't ever face any charges or consequences or even be excommunicated.
The Western world's oldest and most insidious sex cult strikes again.
Yep.
And we have a never-ending supply of true crime stories from that awful institution.
Whatever the month of Easter is in, why don't we do like a whole Catholic I'm just kidding. But like a whole like Catholic like expose. I'm just maybe not at Easter.
Well, no, I mean it could be like for Lent when you're sad about the absence of God. He hasn't.
I've never been
yet.
sad about that. I've never been sad about that.
They make you feel sad. They make you feel sad for a whole month.
They make you feel sad. They tried to make me feel sad for like a long time. It didn't work.
Man, well, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I do have a spoopy tale for all of us today.
Yes. Spoop me up.
Spoopy.
Okay, my
Jesus
dearie.
is a biscuit. Let him spoop you up.
Let him sop me up.
Spoop you up.
Kevin is a biscuit. Let him spoop you up.
That's correct. I'm the biscuit now. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The tale of the spoopy nature that I'm presenting to you and our dear listeners is another fearsome critter from American folklore.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I previously spoke about a different fearsome critter called the Hide Behind on fan favorite episode number 13.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Anthony Gignac. Yep.
Spooky.
Oh, yes.
So fearsome critters at large, they are a collection of creatures known to live throughout the U.S. and parts of Canada. Fearsome critters first arose in like lumberjack communities when the white man continued their westward expansion here on this continent. And I just want to pause for a moment. I just want to appreciate that there was a time where there were things called lumberjack communities.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I think now you have to go to Fire Island on a very specific weekend to make that happen now.
Yes.
I'm sure there's at least one or two other festivals
just
for the outdoor bear.
There was...
Yeah, but I digress. I just wanted to park right there for a moment and appreciate.
You really just got to.
No, it's good. It's good for the ambiance of the whole thing.
Yeah. Fearsome critters were stories told as lumberjacks traveled from site to site. It was their way of explaining weird noises. It was their way of explaining why some guy never returned to camp. It was their way of hazing newbies.
Hank, there's some fearsome critters about. We should probably keep close in the tent tonight.
Rub your beard on mine. Rub your beard on mine, and we will keep this whole camp warm.
Oh, you don't want the snally pooper to eat your foot. And the only way to do that is to...
lay with me.
Yes, lay with me. But yeah, let us not assume that didn't happen.
It absolutely happened.
Oh, we will not be assuming anything like that did not happen.
So today I'm talking about a different fearsome critter. Okay. Episode 48 Spoopy Tale is going to all be about the Sidehill Gouger.
What? Okay, sounds aggressive.
What?
Hide your teeth, hide your eyes.
Well, and we're going to get into it. So as from its name suggests they spend their entire lives on steep hillsides. They are a four-legged mammal with descriptions ranging from either like bear-like or deer-like or
very different
hog-like or cow-like.
Very different.
Okay. Ooh, maybe like goat-like, because goats. Have you seen those videos of goats just like straight chilling on totally up and down cliff faces?
Yeah, that's what I picture these Sidehill Gougers to also kind of live too.
Okay.
But like whatever description has been given of them, well, there is always one unique feature about this fearsome critter, and that is half of their body's extremities are always longer than the other because of how they live. They live on hillsides. Naturally, you're either going to be born with two longer left side extremities or two longer right side extremities.
Oh, for leaning purposes, for balance
purposes.
Oh, okay, that's smart. Okay.
That's so funny.
And so, like, as you can imagine,
but...
as you can imagine, that does render them only able to move in one direction their entire life. They can only move forward.
It's Eugene Levy in Best in Show. He can't turn left.
Well, I was thinking about how Peter Jackson made all of the hobbits go from the left-hand screen to the right-hand screen in every scene of Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God, that's true.
Yeah, he put so they could always be on the same journey. They were always going in the same direction. Anyway, that was a little tidbit that I thought of. But Eugene Levy's so much better. But the Sidehill Gouger, you're either born right-handed, we'll say, or left-handed.
Got it.
In fearsome critter lore, they're either known as clockwise or counterclockwise because of the direction
that they can go.
Yes, they will spend their entire lives on like a mountainside or a mountain and just be circling in it and circling in it.
No thanks.
Hey. It sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
They're called gougers because they continually gouge a pathway into the surface of the hillsides throughout their life.
We're not just scooping out eyeballs.
No.
Okay.
No, they're gouging out earth.
They're like leaving a record on for too long, and it's just like making a groove into the record. But the record is a mountain, and the needle is a gouger.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's not much known in terms of how a Sidehill Gouger interacts with humans, honestly, because of the terrains that both animals live on. A human will not often cross a path of a Sidehill Gouger on the steep cliffside.
Makes sense.
Nor can a Sidehill Gouger walk on flat land. If it were to, it would be in a it's like when a sheep falls on its back, it'll die in a matter of hours because it can't move.
No.
It'll just slowly go in a circle.
No. Yeah, no. Me and the sheep.
But they can. The lore of Sidehill Gougers, there are stories from New England to Appalachia to Wisconsin to Oregon to the Southwest in Utah.
They're everywhere.
That begs questions. How did they get that far if they only live on mountainsides and can only go in one direction? Well. There was a story and a theory hypothesized as to how gougers could migrate from different mountains.
Okay.
The running theory is if you have two gougers and they kind of like join together like a three-legged race kind of deal.
Oh my God.
You put the little sides together.
Yep.
Oh
and
my God.
they have four legs.
It's like a potato sack race, but for gougers on a mountain. Honestly, I love it. I love the idea of becoming a super goat. No.
Yeah, can anyone think of a better hypothesis? No.
It's very, very
it's clearly how it
and possible.
Yeah. And that's how they theorized Sidehill Gougers had gotten from terrain to terrain.
Okay.
These fearsome critters were known to be mammals that laid eggs, much like the echidna and much like the platypus.
Right.
I think those are the only two, other than, of course, the Sidehill Gouger.
Correct. But then that begs a lot of questions for me. Knowing that they can only move in one particular direction, knowing that they can't walk backwards on the hillsides, knowing they can't walk on flat land. First off, A, how do two gougers mate? They have to be the same.
Carefully.
But,
thanks, Dad.
But like how like do they actually can they have to face the opposite ways so they can join from sex part to sex part?
Where are the sex
Maybe
parts?
they have to be opposites and they just do kind of
Maybe
like
a
butt to butt.
Maybe it's like a flounder situation where everything's on one side, maybe.
Maybe. It's on it would have to be on like the short side because then they can join short sides and make a baby.
Yeah, because if they lay the eggs, then do the parents or parent raise the young, or do they just kind of lay them and forget about them?
Set it and forget it.
Set it and forget it.
Around Popeil.
I mean, an egg would allow me to think that it's a set it and forget it.
But then what sad lives?
What sad lives?
Listen, it sounds like they're making the best of it.
Yeah, and it's just sometimes evolution doesn't do things well for certain animals. So I guess whatever.
Yeah.
I guess it is what it is.
Prime example.
They are also known to be the cause of the rock structures called hooves, which are found in like Bryce Canyon, Utah. It's these kinds of rock structure. I'll post on our socials.
Well,
so
where
like
they
towers,
spindly.
Yeah, they look like
towers.
Kind of
is it just
towers.
That's because they've got Sidehill Gougers just walking around in little tiny circles forever?
Oh, those are so tall.
They're
that
tall.
feels okay. I mean, look,
narrow.
Far be it from me to naysay the lumberjack community.
Tread carefully.
We have
a very large contingent that listens to us.
Look, Daddy, I'm sorry. But I just don't know about these gougers.
I don't know.
Would they not just be...
sounds...
Daddy, are you sure you didn't see a goat?
I'm sure of it.
How dare you?
But also a distressing fact about gougers. If a counterclockwise and a clockwise gouger should ever cross paths,
oh no,
they have to fight to the death because one can't pass by the other.
Oh no.
And they can't turn around.
No.
One has to go. One has to go.
No.
But it's Ed. It's my best friend Ed. I can't just
no, because it would be the first and last time that you would ever see each other.
Right. Only ever
if you meet, you have to fight to the death.
To elaborate on that, as I was doing my research, I came across some comment threads on a very reputable website called hoaxes.com.
Yeah. Sounds great. It sounds legit.
Hoaxes.com. This isn't one. It's very real. It's not one.
And I just had to share some of those comments left by people on the Sidehill Gouger page for no other reason that they just tickle me to no end because of the earnestness of it all.
Okay.
All right. The first comment is from a commenter known only as John, and this was posted on January 24th, 2007. Quote, "The clockwise versus counterclockwise nature of the Sidehill Gouger is frequently misunderstood. Different regions generally have a population of nearly 95% one or the other, and the poor 5% who face the opposite way have a very difficult time finding a mate who they can procreate with, as the majority of gougers that they encounter are facing the wrong way! Exclamation point. It takes a very determined Sidehill Gouger to create, quote, crossbred offspring. The poor creatures in the minority are known to chase after anything they see in their trail that is facing, quote, the right way."
Thirsty ass gougers.
So here's the thing. I have a few questions for John, if that's all right. Number one, I'd love to see the numbers on this. Your stats are great.
Show me the receipts.
I don't even mean to be a challenge, but it's such a huge disparity. 95 and 5. I mean,
were you
also
observing a population of them?
Oh, yeah. That was my next question.
Yeah.
How do you know this? Is there a book? Did you write the book?
You know what? The internet in 2007 was a fairly wild place still.
Oh, it's so feral humans.
And underneath that one, again, John had posted that January of 2007. Mm-hmm. The commenter below him was a commenter known as, and I shit you not, their username is all one word. This is not a drill. Aliens have invaded the planet Earth.
Excellent.
Calm, collected.
It's my favorite person.
So they replied to John's post in June of 2007 with, quote, that would lead to a situation similar to the Vermont style of gouger known as the Wampa Hoofus. The two genders face different ways, and they become extinct because they couldn't mate. In this case, I think the 5% that you talked about would eventually become extinct. Guys, I don't know what's happening.
I do have one.
Listen, I mean, it's an interesting evolutionary theory. I do want to give credence to that.
I just have one follow-up question for This is not a drill. Aliens have invaded Earth. Where were you on January 6th, 2021?
Very true. Very true. Oh, but then my last quoted comment too, I'm sure they were also there, to be fair. Again, finally, a user known as Walter Bender. Apparently, we have more to go off of now instead of just John. So Walter Bender commented 2 years later in May of 2009 with, quote, sightings of left and right-handed Sidehill Gougers migrating arm in arm across a plain have been reported, possibly explaining their large range of habitat. Nothing is more tragic than the look of a mother Sidehill Gouger whose child is of the opposite orientation. They can only meet twice per circuit around the mountain. End quote. Okay.
Oh my God, that's right. If you have a parent gouger who's a clockwise and they hatch a counterclockwise gouger,
a hatched mammal, yeah.
But then,
wrong way.
What do the rules of fighting to the death apply when it's your own child?
Let us imply that they're probably at different. They're parallel.
Maybe at their different levels. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But only Walter Bender really knows because he apparently.
Where's the pictures? Where's the documentation? Items. He seems very confident. I'd love to see the documentation.
Well, the documentation is this comment on hoaxes.com.
Sure. No, that is in fact a documentation. Uh-huh. What I mean is he said he saw these things.
I don't know what you mean.
He saw them.
And then he wrote them down. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was 2009. Mm-hmm. Did he not have a digital camera or
not
a camera
everybody
phone?
had an iPhone.
No,
iPhones were still new.
I had a flip phone in 2009, but that flip phone had a camera on it.
Yeah, where's the grainy footage?
God, it's so horrible. That's not the point.
I know, we're digressing, thinking about how terrible, and we thought it was the future.
Amazing. Oh, and if you carried your flip phone with a cute little tiny little digital camera, you're ready for a night out. Ready for a night out.
So what we're saying is Walter Bender, he's probably actually there at the Capitol on January 6th.
Walter Bender absolutely took a shit in Nancy Pelosi's office.
He is like, what was I going to say? He actually'd and then had all this proof and just thought not to share it all. So I'm not an idiot. Bender, you are. Walter.
Yeah. The Wild West of the internet.
And if he wasn't on probation of the feds right now, he'd get you, miss.
That's right.
He rarely would.
Oh, come get me.
And so that's pretty much what I have about the fearsome critter known as the Sidehill Gouger. There's been a couple of pictures that I've seen where they have different heads. And again, I was saying how people say they could look like bears or hogs or deer or whatever. My favorite one is it kind of looked like the body of a bear, but then like the head of it, what looked like a flying fox, like a bat.
Oh, okay.
That kind of head. And I dug that.
Here's one that looks like a super muscular horse.
Oh, yeah.
But that's got like three, like, but the claw.
Oh, I'm seeing that photo too.
Yeah, but it's got like claws, like a dinosaur.
Three claws.
Situation.
Got to hang on somehow, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, there's a pig one.
Yep.
I'm just going to Google sexy Sidehill Gouger.
Oh, fuck yeah.
All right, I'm Googling it too. I need to see.
Images.
And listeners, as they're doing that, thank you for sticking around and listening to these spectacular stories today.
Yeah, listeners, do yourself a favor and do a quick Google of the Sidehill Gouger. There's
everyone needs to see it.
A spectrum, a variety. There's a lot of options for your own imagination, and you can do that whatever you want.
Yeah,
one side's got teeny legs.
Yeah. One side has teeny legs, and the one I heard there's a population in Appalachia, like West Virginia, where they have their half of their body is like kind of yak hair style, but then their other half that touches the mountain is completely smoothed.
Yes, because they rub it.
Because
rubbed off from friction.
It's like a riverbed eroding.
Pretty much.
But a living thing.
But that's the Sidehill Gouger, y'all.
I love it.
Cuties.
I love the Sidehill Gouger. I love nuns having fun.
Fun.
And listen, I really think the winner of Edie's story were the Sapphic nuns at the end.
Absolutely.
Really won. They just won everything.
They got out of there. They went into their cute farmhouse in some like really gorgeous hilly region of southeast Belgium. Like, come on, get thee to a nunnery.
Honestly. Yeah, I hope they had a stable of not horses, but these Sidehill Gougers instead. Because if they're up there in the hills, in the mountains, I hope they've got 2 Sidehill Gougers who don't have to fight to the death. And just like every 2 times around the bend, they can just butt to butt or however they get it done. And everyone's happy. That's all I want.
Absolutely. Fuck yes. Miss, where can our listeners find more information about these Sidehill Gougers and Sapphic nuns?
Well, if you're interested in our sources, why don't you head over to our website at creepyinquiriespod.com. If you want to check us out on Instagram, please do, at Creepy Inquiries Pod. If you want to send us an email, suggestions, stories, criticisms, send us an email at creepyinquiriespod@gmail.com. You can also, if you're feeling so kind, and the people who have done so far have been very kind. Please leave us a cute little rate or review.
You should leave us 5 stars, or I will shorten one of your arms and one of your legs.
Yeah, deal with it.
They're not joking.
And you don't want that.
They have the tools.
You'll only be a clockwise or a counterclockwise. I get to choose.
Better give 5 stars.
You heard them here.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.